Children, today we'll learn about the Peninsula Plateau in detail. Children, let us recap how the Children, let us recap. In my previous video, I have already told you how the Peninsula Plateau was formed. As you know, when the Pangaea broke up into two, Gondwana land and Angara land, or it was also called as Laurasia, and then the Indian Australian plate started breaking away from the Gondwana land and started drifting upwards, northwards, okay, to collide with the Eurasian plate, okay, because the Laurasia plate also got divided into two parts. So now when this was moving towards, drifting towards the Eurasian plate, it passed over a reunion hotspot where there were volcanic eruptions. When it passed through this hotspot here, all that lava got deposited here. When the lava volcanic eruption, all the magma that comes out and cools, then lava is spreads all over, it cools and it formed a plateau. So more eruptions were on the western side, so western side is slightly higher, this leading to the formation of the Peninsula Plateau. Okay, so this is a very old Mars. Once it broke away from the Gondwana land and while drifting up, it was formed. So this is an old Mars, whereas the Himalayas are a new land formation. Okay, so this is more old and more steady. So children, this is our Peninsula Plateau. Why is it called Peninsula? You can see after the northern plains or Indian plains, we have the Peninsula Plateau. Why is it called the peninsula? What is a peninsula? A peninsula is a land which is surrounded by water on three sides. So we have water on three sides. Here we have Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal and Indian Ocean. That is why it is a peninsula plateau. And why plateau? Because what is a plateau? It is like a table which has a flat top. So you can see like table has legs and a flat top. Imagine a table. So this is how this is made due to volcanic eruptions, and it is composed of old crystalline igneous metamorphic rocks, okay, and it has black soil and it has broad shallow valleys. Now what are broad shallow valleys? I'll tell you. Children, you can see here, this is the Deccan Plateau. It's raised, and here there are hills on the western Ghats. In between we have valleys, okay, so deep shallow valleys, and that's the Deccan Plateau. So let us revise what is the Peninsula Plateau. A tabletop land composed of old crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rocks formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land. It has black soil, it has broad and shallow valleys and rounded hills. Here there are no peaks, there are only rounded hills. And the main divisions are actually Central Highlands and Deccan Plateau, and we have an extension of the Deccan Plateau in the northeast. Children, before I move ahead, there are certain important landforms that you must remember here in the Peninsula Plateau. Here we have the Aravalli range, okay, then this is the Vindhya range, and the blue river that you see is the Narghada range, and below is the Satpura range, okay. So children, you see the entire Peninsula Plateau we divided into two part divisions. We have the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau, okay, and we will now learn about the Central Highlands. So you see, in between the Central Highlands and Deccan Plateau is the Narghada River, okay, between two mountains, creating a rift valley. We have learnt about the rift valley. This is our rift valley. Between the plateaus, the river Narghada is flowing. Children, let us look at the extent of the Central Highlands. So you can see in the northeast we have the Aravalli Hills. In the Central Highlands you can see here the southwards we have the Vindhyas, and here down below we have the Satpuras. Towards the east are the Rajmara Hills and the Chota Nagpur Plateau, which is in Jharkhand. Okay, so this is the extent of the Central Highlands, and you can see here the Central Highlands are very wide in the western part and becomes very narrow when we go towards the east. Children, the major part of the Central Highland consists of the Malwa Plateau, which is in Madhya Pradesh, And then as we move ahead, we have another one here, which is the Bundelkhand Plateau, then the Bhagelkhand Plateau, and finally we have the Chota Nagpur Plateau. So there are four plateaus, okay, right from west to extending towards the east. We have four plateaus which form the central highland. So they are broken up into four parts. Okay, let us revise which one is this. So I've already given you a clue. This is Chota Nagpur. Here we have Malwa, okay, Bundelkhand and Bhagelkhand. So these are the four major plateaus which comprises of the central highlands. Okay, Bundelkhand, Bhagelkhand, Chota Nagpur, and the biggest one is the Malwa. The major portion of the central highland is the Malwa Plateau. You can see here, this is the Malwa Plateau. Children, the major rivers in the central highlands are Chambal, Sindh, Betwa and Ken. Can you see them? Okay. Now these rivers, Chambal, Betwa, Sindh and Ken, they flow from southwest towards northeast. So because of the slope, so they are flowing this way. Although they originated here, but they are flowing the other way, towards the northeast they are flowing. Okay, so this is all about the central highlands. Let's recap about the central highlands. So you see, it lies north of river Narghada. Major part of the Malwa Plateau is made up of the central highlands. It's covered by Vindhyas in the north, Satpura in the south, Aravalis in the northwest, and rivers such as Chambal, Betwa, Ken flow from southwest to northeast. And central highlands are wider in the west but narrow in the east, known as Bundelkhand, Bhagelkhand, and Chota Nagpur Plateau marks the further eastward extension. Okay, so that's all about the central highlands. Okay children, after the central highlands, let's look into the Deccan Plateau. So you can see the Deccan Plateau is towards the south of the Narghada River. In the north there is Satpura range. In the west you have the Western Ghats. East you have the Eastern Ghats, and you can see there are hills at the end which are joining Annamalai and Cardamom hills, which are there. And then you can see in the eastern borders there are some hills, Mahadev hills, Kaimur hills and Maika hills. Okay, so Vindhyas and Satpuras meet at the Maika hills. So this is the extension of the Deccan Plateau. Now children, the Deccan Plateau is raised. Okay, you can see it's raised from the western side, and then there's a gentle slope. You can see the hand movement. Here it is slightly tilted and raised, and there's a gentle slope towards the east. So children, let us recap what the Deccan Plateau is. It lies south of the river Narmada and borders Satpura in the north, Mahadev, Kaimur, Maikal in the east. It is tilted towards the east, it is higher in the west and slopes gently eastwards. Now the Deccan Plateau has an extension towards the northeast also. We have the Meghalaya Plateau, the Karbi Antlong Plateau, North Khachar Hills. So these are an extension of the Deccan Plateau. And the major hills that we can see here in the northeast are Garo, Khasi and Jaintia hills. Okay, so let us recap about the northeast plateau, which is an extension of the Deccan Plateau. Extension of the Deccan Plateau is in the northeast. So it is Meghalaya Plateau, which consists of Garo, Khasi and Jaintia hills, and the Karbi Anglong Plateau and North Chachar hills. Okay, so these are the extension of the Deccan Plateau which are in the northeast. So children, with this we have come to the end of the Peninsula Plateau. Let us revise again what are Peninsula Plateaus. They are a tableland composed of old crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rocks. It is formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land. It consists of two main divisions, Central Highlands and Deccan Plateau, and we see an extension in the northeast as a Northeast Plateau also. Okay, then let's take up Central Highland. It lies to the north of the Narmada, covering a major area of the Malwa Plateau. The Vindhya range is bounded by the Central Highlands on the south and Aravalli on the northwest. And further eastward extension gradually merges with the sandy and rocky deserts of Rajasthan. Further westwards. Okay, and the rivers in there are Chambal, Sindh, Betwa and Ken. Okay, and we have seen that the central highlands are wider in the west and narrower in the east, and the eastward extension of this plateau are known as Bundelkhand and Bagelkhand, and Chota Nagpur are further eastward extension drained by the Damodar River. Now regarding the Deccan Plateau, it is a triangular landmass. You have seen it is triangular, that lies to the south of the river Narghada. The Satpura range are in the north, with Mahadev, Kaimur and Maikal range in the east. It is higher in the west and slopes gently eastwards. Okay, and then we see an extension of the Deccan Plateau in the northeast, which is the Meghalaya Plateau, Karbi Anglong Plateau, North Chachar Hills, and it is separated by a fault from the Chota Nagpur Plateau. Now, three prominent hills are here. They are Garo, Khasi and Jaintia hills. Now, very important feature of the Peninsula Plateau that it's made up of black soil, and it is also known as Deccan Trap. So, with this, we come to the end of the Peninsula Plateau.